Here's Marky. This is the first time I've ever done anything like Ed McMahon. Do I need a new hip now or something? Remember the old joke David Letterman used to tell, and all that? Why is it that people don't return the Publishers Clearinghouse sweepstakes entry? David Letterman's joke was $10 million is not worth the nightmare of meeting Ed McMahon. All right, there you go. Tri-Cities, that's dated right there. Yeah, Ed McMahon, my goodness, you talking, who's a Star Search? Was Sawyer Brown found on Star Search? I think they were, but that's even now. Sawyer Brown is a long time, 25 years at least. All right. Just wanted to mention, the one talk about Jared Guarantano and this talking about him thriving under pressure. The analytics had said that. By the way, I understand that. I don't totally absolve him because of that. But one thing that I would look at is just how important Trey Smith was. Because although if you look at the sack numbers of Tennessee before and after, really, Jared Guarantano wasn't sacked that much more. But then you start thinking, wait a minute, he was knocked out of, the Alabama game. Didn't play that much. Was it Missouri they didn't play? I know they didn't finish up Vanderbilt, but that was, to tell you the truth, I would have yanked him out of Vanderbilt a lot sooner than he was. Regardless. I'm trying to recall the exact games without seeing him, and I believe they were, correct me if I'm wrong now, but Kentucky played the whole way and played pretty well, if memory. They won 27-7, a game people really were not necessarily thinking the Vols would win. There was, Charlotte wasn't much, but if you look at what the offense was doing before Trey Smith, after Trey Smith, Tennessee was not beating Auburn anymore. They were now losing 50-17 to Missouri. They were now being blown out by the Commodores. They were now not scoring against Charlotte. To tell you the truth, the 49ers, you can make a very strong argument 49ers should have won that game. Anyway, that's the case, but it shows you the importance of Trey Smith. And while I do say you can always find another tackle, sometimes it takes a little bit of time. You can always find another tackle, but it might be you recruit another 5-star player like Tennessee has done in time. And of course, also, wasn't Smith playing some guard last year? Sort of. I'm Marky Billson, Tri-Cities Sports Now. So that's one of the things. Also, speaking with the Vols, I was talking a little bit about this at the end of yesterday's show, and it was John Adams' column that the media's opinion, will Jeremy Pruitt do better than Butch Jones? And the idea was Jones won 34 games at Tennessee. Will Pruitt win more or less than that when it's all said and done? Adams has a good point that he says, does year 2 really look that much different than year 1? Now, in some cases, I think yes. Hey, look, 10 starters returning on offense. I assume that means they think Smith will be back, but 10 coming back on offense, 7 on defense. Sounds pretty good. I'm a guy who thought VMI with 19 starters returning would finish 7th or win 2 more games. Tennessee goes 7-5 this year. I think they're going to give Pruitt a raise. Don't you? And that could happen very easily. Because South Carolina isn't outstanding. And Mississippi State isn't unbeatable. And BYU is not playing in 1984. Were they really that good in '84? That's a question. I never really thought that they were. I thought Washington was the best team that year, but anyway, that's neither here nor there. But that's the question. Now, flip side, yeah, the starters are returning, but it's sort of like VMI. How good are they really? Better than VMI's players. Let's establish that. If you think I'm going there, no. But that's the question here. And then one of the problems with Tennessee winning is sort of the same situation that Dwayne Kuiper once said about hitting a home run in the major leagues. Dwayne Kuiper was a second baseman for the Cleveland Indians and San Francisco Giants in a previous generation. He has since had a lot of success as one of the Giants' broadcasters. Now, in his entire major league career, from the years 1974 to 1985, Dwayne Kuiper hit one home run. And he said, the problem with hitting one home run in the big leagues is that then everyone expects you to hit another one. And it's sort of like win 7 games. This, by the way, could be Tennessee or ETSU or any place, really. They expect you to do it again. Yeah, ETSU fans, if there's ever a fan base that should be by now accustomed to losing, it's ETSU football fans. But they're not going to really be happy with 6-5 after 8-3 last year, even if ETSU was touched by an angel in so many of those victories. No. Best defense, Quay Holmes, hey. Let's see the playoffs again. They're crazy if they're not picking ETSU in the preseason top 25, and so far, there have been a lot of crazy people. So, I thought ETSU second myself this year. I also don't know if they'll complete a pass. They may be winning a lot of 2-0 games. I'm not sure about that. But anyway, yes, some of that was said firmly with tongue in cheek, but there's also some truth to that, Anyway, Tennessee, look, schedule is not as tough, as maybe some previous years. BYU is not West Virginia. Mississippi State is probably not Auburn. And Samuels ain't catching passes for South Carolina anymore. Shermer ain't throwing them for Vandy. And Allen ain't disrupting defensive backfields, or not defensive backfields, but offensive backfields for Kentucky. But you do get the idea that, all right, who steps up in their place, and how good are these volunteers? That's what the question is right now. And we just don't know. We just don't know. And what I'm wondering, though, is that if it is, everything goes right, if it is 8-4, is that thought to be elite now? Are the fans happy with that? Do they think 8-4 now, okay, take on Alabama next? I don't know. I do not know. I know that not going to be happy with 5-7. There is one thing else I know. If Pruitt fails, Fulmer fails. John Adams wrote it yesterday, and that is the truth. And the thing that bothers me just a little bit is that, and I said, there's some reasons that we think, okay, things are going to be improved. You get the idea that the team is now all on the same page. You get the idea that better offensive coordinator comes in. The assistant coaching staff, maybe it's stronger. That everybody is a year more developed. Those are big things, don't get me wrong. But there's just also just a little bit missing. And if those players aren't all that good, and the biggest thing that nobody, except for one kick returner, on that all-SEC team, any of the first three teams, remember 2017 when the Vols were 4-8? That was the year that, oh, well, we're picked Tennessee top 25. Why not? They're Tennessee. And I remember Athlon thinking that they'd be pretty. No, was it Athlon? No, it was Phil Steele. Excuse me. It was Phil Steele, yeah. And he ranked all the units. Was it Athlon or Phil Steele? Anyway, there was one of the two. Forgive me. A major college football publication predicted and ranked all the positional units of the SEC teams. So, in other words, these are the quarterbacks ranked 1 through 14. These are the running backs. These are the linebackers, etc. Tennessee was the only school in the SEC in 2017 that did not have any one of their units in the top half of the league. And look what happened, 4-8. Nobody except a kick returner, Callaway, on any of the top three preseason SEC teams. Well, maybe you ask the IDs and the coaches, and maybe they don't know what they're talking about, but maybe they do. And that's the thing that gets everybody in East Tennessee worried. And if it hasn't been, it should be. I'm Marky Billson. When we come back, I'm going to tell you a little bit some Appalachian League and some baseball notes. And I'm also, for our Facebook viewers, going to hold up a picture of a pretty girl. It has to do with sports. Don't worry about it. Tri-City Sports Now.
With All-American Savings at Neighborhood Ford.